They said witches did not fly on brooms, they flew on breath. In the dark corners of medieval Europe, there was a plant that did not promise beauty like belladonna. It promised escape from pain, escape from reality, escape from yourself. Its name was Henbane. People burned it, they inhaled it, they mixed it into strange oils and rubbed it on their skin. And then the world began to bend. Walls moved, shadows whispered, the body felt light. Sometimes it felt like flying, sometimes it felt like falling into madness. This was not a gentle plant, this was not a royal cosmetic, this was the witch's breath. And once it entered your lungs, it did not ask permission to change you. Tonight, we step into the smoke. Welcome to Green Wisdom, where plants are never just plants. Here, we explore the hidden stories behind history's most mysterious herbs, the science, the myths, and the strange space where both meet. Henbane did not grow in royal gardens. It grew where people did not look for beauty, along broken roads, near ruins, beside graveyards where the soil was disturbed and restless. Its leaves were dull, sticky. Its smell was sharp and unpleasant. Nothing about it looked magical, and yet people feared it. In medieval Europe, Henbane slowly became part of whispered stories. It was not the plant of queens, it was the plant of outsiders. Healers who worked alone, women who lived at the edge of villages, men who understood herbs too well for comfort. There was rumors of something called flying ointment. Late at night, by candlelight, Henbane would be crushed and mixed with animal fat. The mixture was thick and dark. It was rubbed onto the skin, not eaten, not drunk, because people had learned that swallowing it could be deadly. The skin absorbed it slowly. Then the waiting began. At first nothing, then warmth. Then a strange heaviness in the limbs, like gravity was changing its mind. And then the world would begin to shift. The ceiling might feel far away, the room might stretch, the body might feel light, almost separate from itself. Some described rising above their beds, others described running through forests that did not exist. Many described wind against their faces, even while lying still. It felt like flight. Was it flight? No, but when your senses are scrambled, your brain does not need wings to create the sky. Records from witch trials describe confessions of women claiming they traveled through the night, met dark figures, attended secret gatherings. Under fear and torture, stories grow wild, but the sensations they describe match what we now understand about powerful hallucinations. Henbane did not give them broomsticks, it gave them altered reality. And then there are the northern stories. In Scandinavia, archaeologists found traces of Henbane seeds in Viking graves. This does not prove everything. It does not confirm every legend, but it opens a door. Some historians suggest that certain Viking warriors, the berserkers, may have used psychoactive plants before battle. These warriors were described as entering a state of uncontrollable rage. They felt no fear. They seemed immune to pain. They felt like men possessed. There are many theories about what caused this state. Some suggest mushrooms, some suggest ritual trance, and some point to Henbane. If a plant can blur reality, distort fear, and disconnect the body from pain, then the idea is not impossible. Imagine standing on a battlefield. Your heart is racing, your enemies are screaming, steel is flashing. Now imagine your senses of fear is muted, your pain signals are dulled, your mind is detached from your body. You would not feel human, you would feel unstoppable. But that same state could just as easily turn into confusion, disorientation, collapse. Henbane is unpredictable. That unpredictability is what made it terrifying and powerful. It was not a clean spiritual experience. It was messy, sweaty, disordered. Some users reported seeing animals that spoke to them. Others felt insects crawling on their skin that were not there. Many experienced deep thirst and burning heat, as if their bodies were drying from the inside. Reality cracked, time stretched and folded, and in a world without neuroscience, without chemical knowledge, without mental health language, what explanation remained? Spirits, demons, gods, magic. When enough people share similar, strange experiences around the same plant, the myth becomes stronger than doubt. Henbane did not need to prove itself. The experiences were proof enough. And once a plant is linked to the supernatural, it is almost impossible to separate it from that shadow. Henbane became more than a plant. It became a symbol of crossing boundaries between sanity and madness, body and soul, earth and sky. It was never beautiful, but it was unforgettable. Now let's step out of the smoke for a moment. Henbane affects the brain in a very powerful way. It blocks certain signals that help the brain stay organized and clear. Normally, your brain carefully filters what is real and what is imagination. It keeps your thoughts connected. It keeps your senses balanced. Henbane interrupts the system. When those signals are blocked, the brain starts to misfire. Images appear that are not there, sounds feel louder or distorted, the body feels dry, hot, disconnected, memory becomes weak, logic becomes fragile. You are awake, but your brain is dreaming without control. That is the key. It is not a peaceful dream, it is a dream breaking into reality. To someone in the Middle Ages, the experience would feel supernatural. There was no word for chemical interaction in the nervous system. There was no concept of receptors or neurotransmitters. There was only experience. And the experience was powerful enough to convince entire communities that the plant was a doorway to another world. Science does not remove the mystery, it explains the mechanism. And sometimes the mechanism is just as fascinating as the myth. Today, Henbane is not used in rituals or battle rage. It is recognized as dangerous. The dose between vision and poisoning is small, very small. Modern medicine learned from plants like Henbane, carefully, scientifically, with control. The same properties that once caused chaos can, in tiny measured amounts, help treat certain conditions. But outside controlled use, it remains toxic. What fascinates me most is not the danger, it is the human pattern. Again and again in history, we encounter a powerful plant. We do not understand it. It overwhelms us, so we build stories around it. We call it sacred, or cursed, or magical. Henbane reminds us of something uncomfortable. The brain is not a fixed, stable machine. It is sensitive, fragile, and easy to alter. A small molecule can change your entire sense of reality. That should make us humble, because if reality can shift so easily, how sure are we of what we see even now? Maybe the witches were not flying, but they were exploring the limits of consciousness without knowing the words for what they were doing. And that, in its own way, is both terrifying and beautiful. If you enjoy exploring the strange line between myth and science, subscribe and join the journey. There are many more plans waiting in the shadows.